Hey, 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 everybody. Happy Make Your Move Monday. This is Latrice McFadden coming to you live all the way from Durham, North Carolina. Excited to be with you all today. Excited for some warm weather coming our way. Tomorrow, I think we're supposed to be in the 60s a couple of days this week, and I'm just beyond happy because I am so over the weather. But our guest today is coming to us live all the way from Florida. So I think y'all had a little bit of a cold spurt, but nothing like what we've had here in North Carolina. So maybe she'll send some of that warm weather up here to stay. But our guest today is Miss Glenna Gonzalez, and she's going to be sharing with us some opportunities as realtors. She's an entrepreneur. She likes to support other entrepreneurs and make sure that we are being able to market our business and stay healthy. So we're going to talk about a few things. So Glenna, would you like to just introduce yourself and then we can get into it?
Yes, yes. My name is Glenna Gonzalez, and I'm the CEO of JB Tyler Marketing and Consulting. And I am so happy to be here with you and to just kind of discuss my business and what we're doing for people in the real estate industry.
All right. Okay. So thank you and welcome, and I appreciate you joining us. So I started out before we got came live. We were talking a little bit about how you got into this industry and this business and the transition you made. Do you want to share a little bit about that? What you shared with me?
Yes, yes, yes. So I'll tell you, a couple of years ago, I was laid off. And what I decided to do was to continue supporting the entrepreneurs in the area in which I lived. So I lived in the Raleigh Durham area, closer to Chapel Hill, and so I had been supporting entrepreneurs in that area for quite some time. When I got laid off, I decided that I would, continue to do things along the lines. I mean, I did press releases for them. Just did whatever I could to assist them, along the lines of helping with marketing and the assets that belong to that. And then, so what happened is I created a magazine called Entrepreneurs in the Spotlight. I did it as, a beginner. Actually, I was a complete beginner creating this magazine. And while I had freelancers that could help, I wanted to learn myself. So I did a lot of the work myself. But I'll tell you, Latrice, it's what I tell people when they are looking for other avenues of exposure is that digital magazines, because that's what it is, digital magazines are an excellent way to be able to get yourself out there in front of people. You can share the link on social media, share it on your website. I mean, you can share it a lot of places. So I started this magazine completely and totally as a beginner. And so what I did was I just got in, started designing the pages, had an amazing, so the August before, so I started it roughly about March of 2024, I believe it was. And then and so I had a wedding issue in August, got a lot of collaboration from people in the wedding industry. And that was one of the best issues that I had done, within just a few short months. And it ended up being just amazing. Like I said, the collaboration and everything. I promoted a young photographer, a wedding photographer in the Garner area. She was on the
Mhm.
cover. And so even after the issue was published and had been out for a few months, people continued to ask, hey, who's that? Who was the photographer, for this? Because it was her work and then it was some others. And then she also did a photo shoot of myself as well. And she did an amazing job. And so, like I said, that's what I like is promoting entrepreneurs, helping to get them out there in front of people and helping them to get more visibility and exposure.
Absolutely. And I will say that I had an article in, I think maybe, I don't know if it was your first real estate magazine, but one of your early magazines. So, and I think it's still out there. I think it's still, do they live on forever or
They
are
do.
those published? Okay.
They do.
So that's another advantage. And I'm glad that you pointed out that it was digital, that it's a digital magazine, because sometimes when we hear magazine, we're thinking the paper, hard copy magazines, which there's a place for that too, even though we're living in more of a digital world. But like you said, the advantage is that it can live forever. We can use these links forever. So, that's a good thing about the magazine. So tell me a little bit about how you promote them, in addition to us being able, when we run an ad, us being able to share it ourselves. How do you promote the magazine, and how many viewers are there typically?
Yes. So I promote the magazine. One of my main avenues is through press releases. So we use EIN Press Wire, and we promote we will do a press release, and we'll link the magazine to the press release so that people can click right from within the press release and be able to go to the magazine and view the pages. And what happens is the press releases go through major news feeds across the country: CBS, NBC, Fox News, Bloomberg, USA Today, and so forth. And so when we put a press release out and we've linked it to the magazine, when those news feeds redistribute the press release, then the
Hmm.
magazine is redistributed. So the magazine gets seen not only in the local areas, but it also gets seen across the country, where they're being redistributed by those news organizations. And so our viewership is well in excess of about 200,000. And I'll tell you, so it's that. And then I myself have about 10,000 LinkedIn followers. So I'll link to it, do some editorial piece, and link to the magazine from the post as well. So I've got about
Hmm.
10,000 followers myself. And then I'm in various business networking groups on
Hmm.
LinkedIn. And so I share links to the magazine there as well. And then also, Facebook and, Instagram. So there are a lot of viewers simply because of the various avenues that we share the magazine in.
Okay. So that's your entrepreneur magazine. And then you also have the REI Rehabber
Mhm.
magazine. So tell us a little bit about that one, and then we can talk about how can someone get in one of the magazines.
Yes, yes, yes. So I'll tell you. I'm here in Florida, and I'm in Jacksonville. Real estate is huge in Jacksonville. We have investors from all over the world actually investing in property here in Jacksonville because the market
Mhm.
is so hot. Now, as you do know, we've had, in the last, well, just recently, a report was published about the number of foreclosures and things along that line, but it's still a
Mhm.
robust market. And
Mhm.
so when I moved here, because I am from North Carolina, when I moved here last May, I, became heavily entrenched in the real estate industry simply because one of my good friends she's on the board of Jax RIA. So Jacksonville Real
Mhm.
Estate Industry Association. And
Mhm.
so she began to share with me, what she's doing from an Airbnb perspective. So she's a host. She owns about three different homes that she, rents the rooms out for Airbnb. I think one of her homes is mostly like government contractors because I'm here in Jacksonville where there's,
Mhm.
one of the naval bases. And
Mhm.
so, she has been doing very well and began to talk to me about real estate here in this area from her perspective. And so I,
Mhm.
started attending some meetings and, got involved in the local real estate scene and really started to niche down. So I went from, just kind of generally representing, entrepreneurs from most any industry to now focusing on real estate because of the opportunities here in Florida. So, like I said, I started with just entrepreneurs in the spotlight, which is, all over Google. If you were to do a Google search, you'll see that comes up because we did press release after press release, and they redistributed, that one. And so now, being here, what I've begun to do is to spotlight realtors and investors, anyone within the real estate industry here in Florida. And then
Mhm.
because of that, I started connecting with the service providers like the roofers, the HVAC, the plumbers, people that make things happen so that the investors can then, flip the properties after they fix them. So, there's a fix and a
Mhm.
flip. And so, just wanted to have sort of like a trade magazine that I could then focus on, and get more leads. So the trade magazine, and it's spelled kind of weird because in Florida, you can't confuse people with what kind of rehab, right? So it's not health rehab; it's a real estate rehab. And so
Mhm.
that was the reason for the quirkiness of the name is, so it's
Right.
REI for real estate
Mhm.
industry. So REI,
Mhm.
asterisk rehabber, rehabor. And so,
Mhm.
that's the magazine that the tradespeople are in, the
Mhm.
plumbing, the back, and we're getting our first issue out for that. Real estate entrepreneurs in the spotlight. The previous one, which will continue, has been out for some time. I've been doing that since I moved here in the end of May. But now we've added this new line because, Latrice, what it's about is about lead gen. We all need more money. You got to have enough leads. You got have to have enough pipeline, and so that
Mhm.
you stay good with your cash flow and all the things that
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
means. And so, it's been an excellent opportunity for me to move here to Florida and to begin niching down with the real estate industry or within the industry. And
Mhm.
so just looking forward to more and more spotlighting realtors like yourself, and just kind of getting their stories out there. The same with investors. I will
Mhm.
be attending Peak Partnership next month in Arizona, and that is a Tyler Devereaux multifamily mindset. And so,
Mhm.
that's one thing that's being promoted in this upcoming issue of Real Estate Entrepreneurs in the Spotlight is this event that's happening in Phoenix, Arizona, the end of March, actually. And
Mhm.
it's all about, multifamily properties like apartment complexes and things along
Mhm.
those lines. So, I what I do is, because this is to answer your question as well, I'll network in person, with this magazine. I have an iPhone, and it allows me. It's a beautiful cover because the magazines are actually 8.5 by 11. Believe it or not, many of my clients have printed them out, or gone to some place like Office Depot, had them printed
Mhm.
out. And it's like, a printed magazine when they do that. I prefer digital because it's cheaper for me. It has more portability, and you can
Mhm.
get eyes on it that way, I think, from my perspective. But yes, so that's one way that I kind of get some viewers for it as well, is I just kind of shop the magazine out in person. Meaning I'll just share it. If I'm standing in a group of people, I can text it because I have a full cover. It's beautiful. And text it to somebody and they can start flipping through the pages right there. So, there are a lot of ways that, I get viewers, but what that does is that starts conversations, and people began
Mhm.
using it as sort of like a referral,
Mhm.
referral tool. They'll say, well, I saw so-and-so in this magazine, why don't you call them? So, and that's what it's all about, is generating leads.
Okay. So how can one get in the magazine? And then I know you've mentioned with the rehabber, and did you say it ended with OR?
Uh-huh, it
Rehabber?
does. Uh-huh, it
The
does.
Rehabber magazine, you mentioned that you started out with, local people in Jacksonville, but are you open to, or do you have other areas that are in that magazine as well?
Now, for real estate entrepreneurs in the spotlight, you can be from most any state to participate in real estate entrepreneurs in the spotlight. Now, the
Mhm.
REI Rehabber magazine, because the service providers will only go out, a certain sphere from where their offices are. I felt like, maybe I should just start, my team and I, that we should just start with the service providers here in Florida, because they can only
Okay.
provide services, within a certain, realm of,
Mhm.
miles and things like that. So, yeah,
Mhm.
for the rehab magazine, it's mostly Florida based, but the real estate entrepreneurs in the spotlight, you can be a realtor any place, and we'll spotlight you, or share your story, do a feature, what have you. And it's easy enough. I'll tell you, Latrice, because I get calls all the time. I don't mind sharing my number. It's easy enough just to text me and say, hey, can we, talk about, the magazine? And so I don't
Mhm.
mind sharing my number. That's a good way to, for someone to get in it. It's just to simply text me. And then, I
Okay.
can put them on my calendar and we can have further conversations.
Okay. Well, go ahead and share your number.
Okay. So my number is 252
Mm-hmm.
886
Mm-hmm.
1511. So again, that number is 252 886 1511.
Okay. So I have put it in the chat so
Okay.
that they can text you. Any other way? Like, is there a link that they
Yes.
can see the
Mhm.
magazine?
Yes, yes,
Excuse me.
Latrice. So I created, so one of my emails, which is easier for me to see anything that's related to this, is JB Tyler Property Group at Gmail. So it's just like it spells JBTYLER, property, PROPERTY group at gmail.com. So JB Tyler Property Group at gmail.com. And then
Okay.
also and if they needed to find out a little bit more, my main website is JB Tyler Consultants with an S.com. So www.jbtylerconsultants.com.
Okay. I put that in the chat as well. So
Yeah.
that should show up on all the different platforms.
Yes.
So, how can they see a magazine out there? Or do you have social media? Where can they go and see what an article would look like?
Yes, yes. So now I'll be happy to share once, if they contact me, then I can share, the link with them. I mean, I've got them all over Facebook, even my Facebook page. If they were to befriend me on Facebook, and it's Glenna Gonzalez. So that's it's my name as seen here, Glenna Gonzalez. Then they will be able to see it on my Facebook as well, and then I have no problems texting or sharing, the link as well, any other fashion, via email or what have you. And like I said, I can easily text an issue as well, because they're like I said, 8.5 by 11, but you can view the digital versions on your phone actually.
Okay. All right. So y'all heard it. If you need to get your business out there and you want to, if you're in real estate, if you're in the Florida area and you do, or probably Jacksonville, I'm sure you probably have a limit in how far you go radius wise. But if you're in one of the trades related to real estate
Mhm.
investing, then you can get in that magazine. But wherever you are, you can get into the real estate entrepreneurs spotlight magazine. And that is, doesn't matter where you are, so you can reach out to Glenna via text at 252-886-1511. And then let's talk about health. There's another, we always have to have multiple streams of income and multiple trades and skills. And
Yes.
one of the things that's important that we always, when we're talking to fellow realtors is health and a mind, body, wellness balance. Because when you're an entrepreneur, if you don't work, you don't eat. So we tend to get out there and we're taking it a lot, working a lot, and not necessarily self-care ends up coming last. So tell us about this other opportunity that people can participate in.
Yes. So when I started the magazine Entrepreneurs in the Spotlight, I picked up a client who was wanting more exposure for a project that he had coming up. So this is Vincent Ferguson, or Vince Ferguson, that I'm referring to. And Vince is the CEO of Body Sculpt of New York. And he had a program that he was wanting to get more exposure for called 6 Weeks to Fitness. And so Vince and I began promoting that program because he's been doing it for about 30 years. He and I began promoting the program 6 Weeks to Fitness, where he's able to show you how you can really build and develop some solid habits to weight loss and nutrition within a 6 week period of time. So I began helping him to promote that program, and over the course of time, so that lasted about 6 weeks. I lost about 15 pounds. I just did want to say I lost about 15 pounds. So he
Nice.
is, very effective. It's him and his team. So he has a, certified nutritionist, and then he's got a few other certified fitness and health and wellness people that help him with the program. So it was a successful program. I lost weight. The people that attended the program enjoyed the class as well. And then so once that program was done, we began, working together, doing some other things. And so what happened, Latrice, is that I saw, something something called School. It's spelled SKOOL. And
Mhm.
so I saw, this, opportunity to start a school. And I,
Mhm.
had to look into it and do a little bit of research. And Vincent and I were still working together. And I said, well, Vincent, let me start, let me see what I can do to get you into a school platform, because he has like I said, he's an award-winning podcaster, awarded by FeedSpot in the top 25 for fitness, because he interviews doctors and other health professionals within the space, and he's pretty good at it, like yourself. And so we put those videos from YouTube, just some of them, in the classroom section of the school platform, and then there's a community section where people can kind of come on and, just kind of have conversations with each other, share their wins, talk about, what their goals are with regards to weight loss and things along those lines. He's certified, so he's a certified life coach. He's a certified personal trainer, a certified health and wellness. So he's got quite a few certifications. But
Mhm.
anyway, Vincent, like I said, has a really good history within the health and wellness space. He had very large projects that he promoted throughout Brooklyn, New York, and surrounding areas for well over 30 years, where he and his team would have these amazing events for children.
Mhm.
And so, children's sports and fitness expos and things along that line. They even had, something called the Children's Choice Award, which was, so he was supporting them, with their health activities and things along those lines. Then he also developed a program called the Children's Choice Award. And believe it or not, the children, so what that was about is that the children would choose their favorite musicians. And so they chose Michael Jackson one year. And believe it or not, Michael Jackson did show up. So, you can Google and go back and find some of these things on the Google search. There's even photos and things along those lines. And then he would have, professional sports people like Rashad Jennings and some others, come and help him with these programs that he had for children in and around Brooklyn. So, like I said, his background is extensive, and I felt like it was an excellent opportunity for him to be able to continue to build upon, programs that he'd already started and been successful with. And so the school now has about 150 members in it. And they can come in for free to kind of, just see, like we give healthy recipes, exercise tips. He's always sharing, information, because he was at once a professional bodybuilder as well. And he's a Navy veteran. So in the Navy, he was a kickboxer in the Navy. So, his
Mhm.
whole life has been about sports. So I felt like it was an excellent opportunity for him to help, those of
Mhm.
us that want to, get in shape, want to lose weight, just
Mhm.
want to be healthier. And so he oversees the school, because he's the one that's certified.
Mhm.
I can go in and post, recipes and things along those lines, and say something along, the lines of wellness. But he's the expert. And so we've got about 150 students. We're, wanting to, bring in more people so that we can get more engagement. Because there's a lot of really good information in there about how to, really make changes with regards to your health, particularly if you're sugar addicted, or, or whatever your issues may be. We've got a lot of great information in there. So, we're looking to grow that platform, and it's called 6 Weeks to Fitness with Vince School Community. And again, school is spelled SKOOL. So 6 Weeks to Fitness with Vince School Community. We've got 150 students, and one thing that we are looking for is, we want to use the platform as well as sort of an opportunity for nonprofit organizations to share the platform with those that they serve. Meaning, if you've got, because I know that on our threads, I ran into a young woman, and she was sharing, or starting a nonprofit. Actually, she was starting a nonprofit where she was supporting, women that wanted to, to be healthier and all these things. And I said, well, you can invite them onto our platform, where there's already a lot of information. He's certified, so, we're not going to be giving any misinformation. And, they can just come on and get health tips, exercise tips. And, when I even, extended to her that she could be on the calendar, and, just kind of do Zoom events or something like that with the people on the platform. So we've got, a lot of opportunities to help people within the fitness and health and wellness space to be able to get more exposure for themselves and their businesses. This is one of
Mhm.
our goals is, so it's a CSR, or corporate social responsibility, from two different sides. Because see, now, not only can they come in and share their knowledge with, with the people on the platform, they also can, monetize. There's a way to monetize just by having, the access and the exposure to be able to share, their products and services, and be able to help the people on the platform and whoever they bring, because we certainly want to grow the platform. We want to see more people involved, more people having wins, losing weight, and, finding themselves, being healthier, and
Mhm.
all of that.
All right. So how do they find out about that? I know you said the name of it, but is that the website, or do they just Google that, or
Yes, that's
reach out
probably
to
the
you?
easy. 6 weeks to fitness with Vince, school
Mhm.
community, and it should come up fairly easy because I promoted it like I have other opportunities on a Facebook, on on LinkedIn, and so forth. So if you were to Google 6 weeks to fitness with Vince, VINCE, 6 weeks to fitness with Vince school community, it should come up because we've done quite a bit of work. Were you able to see it?
I just put it in the chat, so
Mhm.
I don't want to take a chance of going to a different
Right.
screen
That's
while I'm trying
fine.
to look at it. So I just put it in the chat, because then if I mess around and lose you, then we're just a mess. So I'm sure that it will come up, and I'll Google it after,
Yeah.
because I'm actually a member, so it probably would definitely come up for me. So yeah, I think that is a great opportunity, because I always talk about with Make Your Move. I didn't specifically did not just put real estate, because I want people to make your move regardless to what it is. And if that's weight loss, strength training, weight gain, whatever, just being overall healthy, make your move. Make your
Yeah.
move to start your own digital magazine, or whatever your passion is. So obviously, I want to help you buy, sell, and invest in real estate, but whatever your passion is, I encourage everybody to make your move with doing it, because if you don't, you'll never know. So,
Right, right. And Latrice, so, one thing I did want to ask you about, so, I've done it, ads for you before, but, in terms of you being a broker and an owner, tell me just a little bit about what you do so that I can, share that with someone, because we do have, investors in North Carolina, and,
mhm,
I've got a bit of a network because that's where I'm from. What can
mhm.
I share with my network about who you are and what you do?
Well, I've been in the industry since 1997. I have a passion for working with first-time home buyers, but I'm really just love making sure that my clients are educated, whether they're buying, selling, or investing in real estate. As far as like agents, I brokered with EXP back in 2021. And I think it's been one of the best decisions I've made career-wise, because EXP just has a lot to offer. So if you have realtors that are looking to make a change, or want to know how their business can grow on multiple levels, would love to, have the opportunity to speak with any of the realtors as well. So,
Okay. All right, then. That
mhm,
sounds good. And of course, I'm remembering quite a bit from doing ads for you, but I just, needed a refresher because I do have a network of investors and people in North Carolina. And so, having said that, now, if there were an investor that was wanting help to find, property that he could fix and flip, do you have, distressed properties? Do you represent any distressed properties at all?
I do, and I actually have a system, for lack of a better word. I'm not sure exactly what to call it, but to get access to other properties that are not necessarily on market. So,
Mhm.
yes, and then I have a group that works with me. I'm not necessarily an official team, but the Triangle Wealthy Group, and we have a lot of investors, investor savvy, investor friendly
Mhm.
agents, that realtors that are part of that group. So um, if I don't know the answer, or if I don't have something, then I have that network to lean into to provide whatever support people need. And one of our team members just started a full investors academy. So she's doing a lot of training with, with helping people get into investment, as well as find the property and things like that.
Oh, Okay. All right. I'd be happy to, get her contact information as well once we're done. Yes.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes. So any other last minute things that you'd like to share, or words of wisdom that you want to share with anybody watching as far as making your move?
Yes, yes. Well, I'll tell you, I'm on Threads. So, there's Instagram and there's Threads. And I'll tell you, I'm on
Mhm,
Threads with a lot of young realtors. And I'm very, very impressed with, their enthusiasm for the industry. And, it's just been wonderful seeing them, share their wins. They're, getting in, they're, doing everything they need to be licensed realtors. And they're, finding ways to get themselves out there in front of people. And so, just, really being impressed with the way that they're moving with sharing their businesses and having very early on wins. And so,
mhm,
and I will tell you too, I will say too, though, Latrice, is not only do we publish, a couple of these digital magazines, we will customize magazines for agencies that want to share their team members, want to share their listings and things along those lines.
mhm,
I do quite a bit of the work for the ones that I am currently publishing, but we have access to freelancers that are, actual graphic designers. So, I have varying levels, that I can use for whatever I'm needing for more complicated projects. But we do customize these digital magazines, and it's a great way for any agency to get out there in front of more people, because we're not just about building brands, we're about building authority. And I'll tell you,
mhm,
so much authority comes from being in these published pieces like a digital magazine. And I'll
mhm,
give you a perfect example. So this is a group that I've been in. It's called Global Entrepreneurship Network. It's a mouthful, actually. And so,
mhm,
or GEN. So GEN is short. And so we had something last year that they sponsored. It's called Global Entrepreneurship Congress. So Mark Cuban was the headline speaker
mhm,
for this event. And so people flew in from all around the world to be a part of Global Entrepreneurship Congress in Indiana last summer. But
mhm,
by having such a tool as like a digital magazine, it gets me out there in front of people that I never would have the opportunity to network with.
mhm,
So,
mhm,
we promoted the event with Mark in it, and the whole thing, because it was a worldwide event, like people flying in from other countries. But that's what a digital magazine will do for you. Is it
mhm,
not only helps you to build your brand, but it helps you to build authority and to network and connect with people that you would not otherwise be able to. So there's Mark Cuban, and then of course Richard Branson has been, or Sir
mhm,
Richard Branson has,
mhm,
Virgin Airlines. He's been in the group for, it might be decades. But, these are the kinds of people that, one will have the opportunity to kind of network with, and to move around.
mhm,
If you can get yourself out there enough. And I talked about the young realtors and how they're already making, some real good moves, getting themselves on social media and Threads and Instagram and Facebook and all the things. But yeah, it's about not just building yourself as a personal brand, but also letting people know that you're the expert and that you have the authority,
mhm, mhm,
to be able to help them achieve their goals. And
mhm,
so that's one of the closing statements that I would have is, we can customize a magazine for someone, or we could, I'll be happy to consult. I have a link that I can send to someone if they're interested in consulting with me, getting on my calendar, and I'll show them, because I can tell you, Latrice, not really even knowing, because so I have a small marketing agency, or what's called a boutique marketing agency, even though I have a wide reach. So I have a wide reach. I'm even listed with a Dwyer's PR out of New York.
mhm,
That's the sort of the Bible agency for PR out of New York, and so I'm listed with them, along with some of the biggest and most notable marketing and PR agencies throughout the country. So there I am, with my small boutique marketing
mhm,
agency.
mhm,
But I'd be happy to share the details with someone, for consult with
mhm,
someone to show them how they can use these customized magazines, and with articles that are designed and created, for their readers, photos, that they would submit to us, so all of their own information, and it's
Hmm.
just a good way to get out there in front of people. And like I said, I'll be happy to consult. With me not, just really starting this, digital magazines, because I've been doing, a whole lot of other things, the press releases and the everything else, and social media posting for the entrepreneurs that I represented. And, that was going well. But I'll say within the first 6 months, me just learning, that's why I said you don't have to have, an extensive amount of experience to do these
Hmm.
things. We'll do it for them, to start, or, I can, consult and show someone how this thing can be done. But within the first 6 months, I think we made about 30K in cash in the value of collaborative services. And so, that's pretty impressive for not knowing, what you're doing, really, kind of. And
Right.
that, but we had advertisers, and people were appreciative and everything. So they didn't look crazy, but I can say that we've leveled up extensively with the newer issues like, real estate entrepreneurs in the spotlight, and our EI rehabber. But, no worries about that. Like I said, I have very experienced freelancers that do
Mhm.
a backup job with these magazines. I just like to teach from a beginner perspective, so that,
Mhm.
if you're a nonprofit and you wanted, like, for instance, we did an issue for the American Legion down in Raleigh, and they made, it had to be a couple of thousand with their magazine. What they did is they had, people that wanted to purchase ad
Mhm.
pages. And so they paid them directly. So we designed the magazine for them, but their advertisers paid them directly, and it was, other veterans and small businesses in the area and things along that line.
Mhm.
They were able to use the magazine to raise funds. And this is what I'm always saying to nonprofits is, work with us and let us show you how you can use this as a tool to get, the funds that you need to continue providing the services that
Mhm.
you do. And it's just a great way to raise funds. I think it's better than the donuts and the candy bars and all the things. I think it's an excellent way to raise funds, and with us doing the work and them, collecting the payments. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's an excellent idea, and I'm glad that you are coming across realtors that are, making it do what it do in this industry, because a lot of times people will they have a misperception of what we do as realtors, and they think that we just go open a door and drive a fancy car and then there's a nice big check and you rolling in the dough, and that is absolutely not what the case is. So I'm always happy to hear when somebody gets in and they do the work, they get set proper expectations, do the work, and are successful in the industry, because it's an amazing industry. I love it. I've been doing it since '97, like I said, and wouldn't trade it. There's nothing else that I can think of that I'd rather be doing. So yeah, I think I'm excited that you shared that opportunity with me, and maybe there's an organization that I have that it might be good with. So yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time today. Did you have something else you were going to say?
No, I thank you for giving me this opportunity, Latrice, to just kind of share some, information with your listeners. And, I look forward to, just, talking with people that, are interested in getting more information. And,
Mhm.
I'll do my best, to help them to monetize if they want to monetize, help them to build more authority if that's what they're after. I'll go the distance for my clients. And so, just looking forward to what may come from this interview.
Absolutely. So your information is in the chat, so people should be able to see it. And I appreciate you joining me today and sharing this opportunity with everybody that watches. And I just wanted to quickly say that I will be hosting a midweek after hours, so after work, open house for my listing at Four Green Springs this Wednesday from 4:30 to 6:30. And so we'll have a lender there that can hopefully get you pre-qualified or pre-approved and let you know how you can get in that house. So if you don't have an agent, or if you just don't want to bother your agent, come on over Wednesday between 4:30 and 6:30 and check out this beautiful 6 bedroom, 4 full bathroom house on the cul-de-sac with some recent updates and just very well maintained in general. So That's all I have for today. So I appreciate you again, Glenna, for joining me. And I just want to encourage everybody to make your move because every step counts. And we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. Hopefully, enjoy some of this